Hi, I'm Kaylee, and I'm announcing a new readathon that I'm going to start doing every year called June Journeys with Inklings. I've been planning this and thinking about it for a few months, and now I'm finally ready to unveil. We're going to have a new readathon in June all about the Inklings. So mostly this is going to be J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and maybe Owen Barfield or Charles Williams or any of the Inklings that you want to focus on. The only thing you have to do to participate in this readathon is read something to do with the Inklings. Either something written by one of the Inklings, written about one of the Inklings, or just in some way influenced by the Inklings. But we also have some challenges with some reading prompts if you want to do those as well. The readathon will go for the whole month of June, but you can really expand it even longer if you wanted to. Like say for instance, you wanted to read through Lord of the Rings. That's kind of a lot to read through in just 1 month. So you could start in June with Fellowship of the Ring, and then in July you could read Two Towers, and then in August you could finish up with Return of the King. So it doesn't have to be just restricted to June. It's just mainly focused in June, but you can kind of expand it to fit whatever reading you want to try to do. The reason it's called June Journeys is because we are going to go on a classic, epic hero's journey together with the Inklings in June. So we have 8 challenges in our hero's journey. At the beginning of any journey, the first thing you need to do is find a wise mentor who is going to give you guidance and advice as you begin your epic quest. So number 1, encounter a wise mentor. Your first reading prompt is to read the Bible. No better place to find good advice. So you could read a book of the Bible, you could read 1 chapter, you could just read 1 verse. That's okay. I am going to have some recommendation videos later on about some places that I think is great to start or to kind of revisit in the Bible. So I will have some recommendations for all of these prompts so that you have some sort of idea of where to get started. So once you've gotten some good advice from your wise mentor, the second stage of your journey is to research some ancient legends. You need to find a library somewhere and research the ancient legends so that you know what you're getting into on your quest. So for this one, the prompt is to read a nonfiction book by the Inklings, or an essay or something that is nonfiction from one of the Inklings. And I have a whole long list of nonfiction that I'm going to recommend, but that will be in another video, of course. Then number 3, you are finally ready to set out on your quest. For this, you're going to read a fiction Inkling book, or maybe a novella or a short story. So something that is fiction from the Inklings. Now we are really getting into the meat of our adventure in Fantasyland. Number 4 is to discover some hidden magic. This prompt is to read a new to you Inkling book or nonfiction or a short story or a novella or a poem or whatever that it is. Something from the Inklings that is new to you that you have never read before. Or if you feel like, nope, I've already read everything, then maybe read it in a new edition or something. I don't know. Find something that is new so you can discover some new hidden magic in the works of the Inklings. And of course, what quest would be complete unless you rescued a damsel in distress? There is no more romantic scene than when you rescue the damsel. So for our romantic scene, we are going to read some poetry by the Inklings. Or if there's already poetry included in something else that you're already reading, like in Lord of the Rings, there's already poetry included in there. So that can just count for this prompt. You already read some poetry from one of the Inklings. Number 6 is to restore an ancient magical sword. So this is all about taking something from the past and then reimagining it in our present time or in the future. So for this one, you have to read a book that was influenced by the Inklings or that influenced the Inklings. So for instance, C.S. Lewis talked many times about how he was influenced by George MacDonald. He said that his imagination was baptized by reading George MacDonald. So for this, you could read George MacDonald because George MacDonald influenced the Inklings. Or you could read a more modern book that was influenced by the Inklings. So pretty much any book that has a dragon on the cover was probably influenced by The Hobbit and Smaug and Lord of the Rings, right? So much of our lore that we have around dragons and riddles and hoards of treasure, a lot of that is influenced. So much of modern fantasy is influenced by Lord of the Rings. So if there is a book that in any way reminds you of the Inklings, or somehow some element of it makes you think of the Inklings, then that counts for this challenge. It doesn't have to be like a direct correlation or a direct influence. Just if it's something that looks similar to you, then it counts. And of course, at the end of every quest, we have to defeat the Dark Lord. For this prompt, you have to watch a screen adaptation of an Inkling book, or a film about the Inklings, or some kind of screen adaptation that was influenced by the Inklings. Just some sort of movie or something that you think somehow correlates to something with the Inklings. You know, I do kind of think of Hollywood as being the Dark Lord, so we're gonna defeat the Dark Lord by watching some movies. Well, most of the time they ruin all your favorite books when they change it to a movie, so that counts as the Dark Lord in my book. And finally, our quest is finished and we fulfill the prophecy. So to fulfill the prophecy, you have to read a book about the Inklings or their work. So this could be a biography or literary criticism or something like that. And I'm gonna have a whole nother video with a bunch of recommendations for biographies and other related books about the Inklings. Now, naturally, while you're on your journey, you must have a map, of course. So I have created an original map, and you can follow the blue dots as you go along the stages of your journey. So you encounter a wise mentor and research the ancient legends and set out on your quest, and then you discover the hidden magic and rescue the damsel right here in Rohan. You restore a magical sword in the forges of the mountains. And of course, you defeat the Dark Lord, and finally, you fulfill the prophecy. So I created this map and I gave all the different areas names that are from the Lord of the Rings and from Narnia. You can follow the link in the description to download your own PDF of this map. And if you want to, you can print it out so that you can follow along on the journey as you complete each challenge. Now, keep in mind, you do not have to do any of these challenges if you don't want to. Or you can just do one or two of them, and maybe the next year, do one or two of the other ones. The only thing that you have to do to participate in June Journeys with Inklings is read something that has something to do with the Inklings. It could be something written by the Inklings, something about the Inklings, something influenced by the Inklings. In order to participate, you just have to read one thing that has something to do with one of the Inklings, somebody. And also keep in mind that although most of the focus is on the two most popular Inklings, Lewis and Tolkien, you could read something from any of the Inklings that you want to. So it doesn't just have to be Lewis and Tolkien. You can read some other stuff as well. In the next couple of months, I'm going to have a bunch of videos coming out with recommendations for what to read for each of the challenges, so be on the lookout for those videos. Please do leave me a comment and let me know, are you planning to participate in this June Readathon? I'm giving you plenty of time to plan your TBR ahead of time. So when June comes, we are ready to go on our journey, our epic journey quest. I really hope that a lot of you can participate in this because I am getting so excited about this Readathon. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.